We are live. We promised it would be happening, and here it is. It's 9:40 on the dot. I hope maybe we're late, but this is how it goes when you're live. And we're here at the ROM. I know you can't tell it from our surroundings because there are no dinosaurs, no artifacts. We're kind of shoved off in the side because we're doing some important stuff here. And my first guest is this lovely lady filmmaker here. I've already commented on her jumpsuit, a want, need. Have to find out where to get it later. Welcome, Sasha.
Hi, thanks for
Say
having
hi
me.
to everybody out
Hello.
there.
Hi.
So your film, Take Light. Tell us what it's all about.
So my film, Take Light.
I think she's telling us to move over here, move over here.
My film, Take Light, enters the tangled web of Nigeria's energy crisis through a
Tangled
series.
web.
Yes, pretty tangled. Through a series of characters connected by the grid.
So how did you find out about this tangled web?
I grew up in Nigeria. I lived there till I was 15. So the power issue was something that I just grew up with. It was just something that was part of everyday life. And when I came to Canada, I realized that people here actually had no idea.
No, and because I don't.
Yeah.
So what is the power issue? What's
Yeah.
happening over there?
So Nigeria is Africa's top energy producer because of the oil industry.
Right.
And yet over half of people there have no power. And then even people like me in my house, we would only get max 2 hours a day.
So is this a matter of the rich sort of taking what they want, or what?
Well, it's actually very, very complicated, and we'd be here all night if I had to
We
explain.
got time, but no. Okay, just in a
But
summary.
essentially, post-colonial corruption.
Right.
And my film takes a look at everyday people and how they are dealing with the crisis, as opposed to politicians and NGOs and people very disconnected from the issue.
So you said you grew up there. Was this, and then you went back to sort of uncover this story. Were these people that you knew when you were growing up that you talked to, or how did you find your subjects?
The character of the Nepa man, who is my main character, was something that was kind of like a mythological character that I heard about growing up, but I'd never actually known one. And so when I made this film, I actually did a lot of research and spent time sifting through a bunch of people to actually find my main character.
And it's 25 years of hot docs here. So how does it feel to be accepted not only to one of the most prestigious documentary festivals in the world, but to be accepted on this prestigious anniversary?
It's really exciting. My first screening's tomorrow, so I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest. But I've volunteered here since I was in university, so it has a
Full
very
circle.
special place in my heart.
So did you always know you wanted to be a documentarian?
I started on journalism wanting to be a reporter, but yeah, pretty along the lines of social issue stuff.
Kind of want to dig deeper into the issues?
Yeah, exactly.
And how long were you digging into this particular issue?
Actual filming took about 3 to 4 months, and then from pitching to finishing, it was a 3-year process.
What about the editing? Because that's what I understand from documentaries is the hardest part. So 3 to 4 months of filming is actually a very concise time for a documentary. But what was the editing process like?
It was a very long process. Thankfully, our producer, Ed, afforded us a lot of time, and my editor, Rich, was really fantastic. We had a very experienced senior editor come in at the later stage to kind of help shape things up even better. But I have a really strong working relationship with Rich, the editor, so it was, has its ups and downs, but we'd done it before, so.
So start to finish, how long did this film take?
3 years.
3 years. That's it?
Yeah.
That's actually very impressive.
It's actually a very fast turnaround, but a lot of that had to do with Ed being my producer and him having a very strong track record.
So when can people watch this?
Well, we have 3 screenings of Hot Docs, and then after that, we're going to be playing some film festivals, but it will end up on CBC's documentary channel.
Okay. So that's not for a while, but for those of you who are here in Toronto, times and dates?
So we have our first screening tomorrow night, April 27th, 6:45 p.m. at Hart House, and then the 2 other screenings, May 1st and May 3rd. They're both at Scotiabank Theatre.
Okay, see, you must have that memorized now. You did it just like that. It sounded really practiced.
Great.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations. I'm sure it's going to be great when you get out there and see all those people watching your film, so congrats. Hot Docs 25.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys come out on the first weekend that we
Oh, we'll be there for sure, and hopefully they'll all be there too. Okay,
Bye.
thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Bye. So we've got a lot of other people that are going to come in and out of the session here. Apparently, all four of the chefs from the opening night film are here. They all represent different restaurants. I think they're all having a little bit of a drink and a nosh themselves because the screening just let out, and or did it let out? Whatever. But they're going to be coming through here so we can ask them how they influence the food here. There is a station that says vegan and gluten free, although that kind of sounds like it's vegan free, vegan and gluten free. But it does sound like an interesting station, one that you don't often see at events like this. So, I don't know. Maybe we should take a quick peek into that side of things. No, we can't because Michael Del Monte is back here. We're going to say hi to Michael, who has a fantastic film called Transformer. It is really, really an interesting. Yeah. Come on in, Michael. Come on in.
Are we live?
So we're live. We're
Oh,
live.
fantastic.
Say hi.
Hi, everyone.
This time I'm going to keep Michael right by my side because last time when we were interviewing him, he kept walking away.
Nope.
It was like
Not this
stuck
time.
like glue,
Yeah,
stuck like glue.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell the folks out there about Janae's incredible journey in Transformer.
Yeah, so she was formerly known as Matt and was born as a male and was a world record powerlifter, bodybuilder, U.S. Marine, served with President Clinton at Camp David, and then at 43 years old was outed and decided, I need to be true to myself and transition. So the film entered at that moment and followed the transition for a year and a half.
So really as macho can get is what his lifestyle was like.
Traps out to here, shoulders,
Yeah.
biceps, and like if you saw Matt on the street, you would want a photo. And we had this, we'd film the film. One day she was Matt, the next day she was Janae, and people would just say, "Hey, can we get a photo with you?" And people just, it was like a walking statue.
Totally. You kind of just imagine two girls sitting on each of those biceps, right?
Yeah,
Like, that's kind of
exactly.
what you picture.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But also to go from being like this macho guy in the was it the army you said? No.
Yeah, U.S. Marine.
The Marines.
Yeah,
Like, and the Marines are hardcore.
yeah. Oh yeah. And the stories were that Matt was the badass. Like honestly was like there's footage in the film where to build his pain tolerance he would stick 4-inch nails into his bicep to make him tougher. And you see him just piercing his skin. You're like, what are you doing?
I
It
wasn't
increases
sure what that
mental
was.
toughness. I'm like, what?
I saw something coming out of the skin, and
That
I
was
was
a
like, "Is
nail.
that a needle?"
That
And
was a
then when it
nail.
finally came
Yeah,
out,
that was
it
a nail.
It was a nail, a long nail for
Yeah.
fun, like or
Yeah,
mental.
training, mental training. But
Insane.
she was the world record holder, and seeing somebody who had that type of stamina and strength endure the emotional transition. That's what the film is about. Kind of disowned by her parents or lost relationship because of her transition, but had the strength to carry on. It was I don't know. It came in handy almost.
Well, and that world, that industry, pumping iron and everything. Everything is about being macho, being the manliest man you can be. What was it like for her to stay in that world during her transition? Was she
tough.
accepted or?
I think her close friends accepted her, but I think a lot of people felt sad, because they felt sad losing Matt, and I think even myself, I knew Janae was almost like a teenager. She had to learn who she was, whereas Matt was a
Fully developed human being.
and that person is, you bring parts of that with you in your transition, but the reality is it's a different person. That's kind of what the film is about. There is a bit of a loss. There's something new that comes, but at the same time, there is a bit of a loss. So I think some of her friends and teammates, they handled it well, right? I mean, I think if you saw it, I was surprised. I thought they handled it well.
I was surprised too because I really thought there would be a little more like
Hostility.
hostility.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I think honestly, because she gained their respect from being such a, muscle is there is no gender for muscle. If you've built muscle, people respect that. It's like you spent your time in the gym, you ate your protein, you did all your things. So we respect you. Now you're changing your gender. That's a little hard to understand, but we respect whoever is inside. And so this is going to be tough to understand, but we're with you.
We're on the ride, and it's beautiful to see, especially her sons go through this journey with her. So you've got to check out this film, Transformer. Tell them when and where.
Yeah, tomorrow night, and Janae will be there as well as Sunday. So tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at the Scotiabank Theatre, and then Sunday at 12:30, we'll both be doing a Q&A after the screening, and then a third screening on May 4th.
I'm so sorry that we didn't get to actually talk to Janae, but
She'll be here soon.
yeah. But tonight?
She's coming
Late. We might get to talk to her. Sadly, you all won't see it, but maybe we'll get a little snippet. Maybe she'll do a shout out to First Weekend Club.
She'd love that. Yeah, that'd be great.
Thanks so much, Michael.
Okay.
Congrats. It's amazing the spread of topics that you see here at Hot Docs. And for the 25th anniversary, they surely pulled no punches in the kinds of films that they're programming. We talked to a filmmaker from Harvest Moon. It's all about these walnut farmers in, I'm going to get it wrong, Kazakhstan. I'm really upset at myself. I know that's not right. But it's following the story of these farmers who are generation after generation of walnut farmers. And the forest that they're working in, where they're farming their walnuts, it's sort of a mystical, magical forest. A lot of folklore about spirits and beings, and the forest having a life of its own. So that's a really cool film that you'll want to check out. Another film that we're going to do another Facebook Live tomorrow morning. So you have to check into First Weekend Club tomorrow morning from 10:40 a.m. till about 11 o'clock. We're going to be talking with some of the athletes. Yeah, another film about pro athletes in The Game Changers. So this is a film that is executive produced by James Cameron of course, Titanic, and the one with, the blue people. And Leia, what's that film? With the blue people? Yeah. It's like Avalon oh God. You all know what I'm talking about. Anyways, that is going to be tomorrow morning, so check into that. But we have some other filmmakers coming in right now. So let's talk to them. Hi. We've got Michael, Michael and Joel from United We Fan. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Let's get cozy. Let's just get cozy. Michael and Joe?
Yes.
Okay. Joel, welcome and tell us about your film. First of all, who's who on the film here?
Joel, I'm Michael. Director. I'm the director,
yes.
Editor, producer, director, producer.
Okay. So now, Joel, tell us.
Well, United We Fan is about TV fanatics who fight to save their favorite television shows.
Oh, okay. So what shows are we following in this film? Were there certain fans of certain shows that you're following, or just in general?
No, we chose really specific stories of some really great campaigns and some great fans, and it really started with the original Star Trek back in the 60s, and the couple that saved Star Trek, which they are still known as today, traveling at conventions, yeah.
So they've made a living out of saving Star Trek.
It's their sort of thing they'll be known for in life. I mean, you wouldn't know Star Trek if this couple didn't fight for it. I mean, it's so crazy. It just would have been another show in the 60s that would have made it a couple seasons and just been dumped, but them fighting for that third season got it into syndication, and it's never been off the air since, and it became what it is today because of this couple.
Oh my God, and honestly, of all the Star Treks, the original is my favorite, because nothing beats Kirk fighting with his hands behind his back, and the music that they would play, dun 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 dun, dun, like that was magic. I mean, Picard was fabulous too, but thank God to these people for saving Star Trek.
Oh no, it's incredible. I mean, it's when Discovery had its premiere, the newest Star Trek show, they're invited out still by the company that makes Star Trek and onto the red carpet. If there's a big convention, they're brought out because everyone knows that there
would be none of that.
There'd be none of it. It's just been a forgotten show, and that's sort of start of it. But that's just the beginning, and then it came through Cagney and Lacey, and then Designing Women, and up until the internet when it came around, and we had Chuck, Jericho, Veronica Mars.
Another great show. I love that show.
So wonderful. And this is a movie that has the stars of the shows, plus the people that created the show, plus the fans. And you get to see how appreciative the people are of the fact that not only do they kept their livelihood, but sort of the thing that meant the most to them was sort of saved by these people. So it's a feel-good film about community and identity.
And how people actually have a voice. No man is an island, and we all can make a difference, right?
That is what people walk out of this film, and they think to themselves, it's like, you know what? I always thought I necessarily wouldn't have a voice. But these people didn't think they did either. But
John, whenever you're ready. Sorry, we just got to make sure they don't leave. You're going to come back, or you're going to stay right there because we'll be done. Yeah, we're going to. Yeah.
So people fight for things they believe in, and I think that's the most important thing people can walk away from this film. That's what we aimed for. We said, let's make a film where people walk out feeling empowered to do something incredible with their life.
So tell us, Joel, where and when can people see it if they're in Toronto?
If they're in Toronto, there's a showing Saturday night, 5:30. That's the 28th of April, which is currently rush tickets only. But you come out because we have lots of special guests that are going to come to the screening.
The Star Trek saviors.
He unfortunately just had heart surgery 2 weeks ago.
Way to bring it down. Way to bring it down.
But he's in great health. He's recovering. He just can't fly from California to Toronto yet. But we have the woman who saved Cagney and Lacey and ended up forming an advocacy group that saved every single show from the 80s and 90s. You won't believe. She is the story of this film. You walk away, people will be shaking their heads like, how did this one obsessive fan end up hosting yearly conferences that had Jerry Seinfeld and everybody in the world to come out to it? It's incredible. And the Kaylee Russell, who fought to save, currently fighting to save First
You're
Amendment.
hogging the screen time. Joel wants to say something.
Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say that also a few secret guests.
Okay, can you tell me after we, like, just give me a sneak peek after. We won't say it on camera, but just like whisper. Okay. Well, that's all we're going to get out of these guys. So off you go. Enjoy some
Bye.
wine and some beer, and thanks for stopping by. So we are really excited to be speaking to this gentleman, Mr. John Walker. There is a focus on. So we're talking to John. I actually just spoke to John a couple of weekends ago. Hello, John. Remember we spoke to you at the Cinematographers Award.
Oh, that's right.
Where he received the coveted Masters Award. Very high honor. And now, just a couple of weeks later, you're here at Hot Docs with as being the focus on documentarian. So what does that feel like? 2 huge honors in the span of 2 weeks.
Yes, I guess it's my year, for some reason. Yeah, I prefer the subjects of my film, the focus to be on the subjects of my film, not on me as a documentarian. It's a very humbling process to be a filmmaker because you're working with people who are, often smarter than you, and they've achieved higher levels of whatever, or they've experienced tragedies that you would never have survived. So it's a very humbling experience.
Now, you've got 5 films that they're playing as part of this retrospective. Do you want to tell us quickly about each one of them? No. Okay.
No,
well, you can find all the information at hotdogs.ca, but how about you tell us this? Did you get to pick those films, or did the festival pick them?
Lynn Fernie has programmed a lot of my films in the festival, so none of them have been shown here before. So I had a list of my top 10, but she looked at them, and this was sort of her selection, and they all fitted within my top 10.
Oh, great.
So
that worked out.
So that worked out. Yeah.
Is there a favorite of the 5 that are playing here?
No, I can't. I don't really have favorites.
It's like picking a favorite child, right?
In a way, they are like your children, so yeah, I can't say I have a favorite.
But there's certainly such a wide variety of topics that you're exploring in these 5 films. So how do you find your stories?
I find my stories, often they come to you, and I mean, I'll talk about the Paul Strand film, Strand Under the Dark Cloth. So he was one of the important photographer and filmmakers in the 20th century, and a very important figure. So I was inspired by his work, his photography and his filmmaking, and I went to see him as a young photographer, and he sort of became a mentor to me. So I was passionate about his work, loved his work. So there are subjects that interest you, and I'm also interested in history, social history. My grandmother's really taught me about the importance of history, and
you can see that in the 5 films here.
Yeah. I mean, documentary is rooted in oral tradition, so it's about meeting people and talking to people that have had experiences. So I've dealt with people who have survived the Holocaust, of children of war, orphans of Manchuria or hidden children, and tragic stories. First Nations in Canada struggling. So I've dealt with a lot of tragedy. But I've also countered that with films of joy, and that because
you got to keep a balance.
We have to do comedy. It's like Shakespeare did comedy and tragedy and histories. So I'm kind of following his. I'm not trying to compare myself to Shakespeare,
but he's a good role model.
You need that balance, So I mean, I have to say one of my favorite films. Okay, you've pushed me to say one of my favorite.
I knew I'd get it.
Yeah, is A Drummer's Dream.
That one looked so interesting to me.
A Drummer's Dream is a film about pure joy. My editor kept saying, well, what's this film about? Because often I make very complex historical films, and they're, and my editor said, well, what's the theme? I said, joy. This is a film about joy. And we were smiling the whole time we were making this film. These guys were just like so inspiring. I was on a high, a non-drug related high, for 6 months.
Thank you for clarifying that on camera.
For 6 months after making this film. So if you want to just have a pure experience of joy, these guys will just send you up into heaven, drum heaven. So
I feel like everybody needs a little bit of that. Like an hour and a half of pure joy in our lives
Yeah.
at this moment would be just perfect.
so I think that's one of my top of the list. Like, and to this day, if I just want to lift, I will watch that film.
So
over
you
and
watch
over
your
again.
babies over and over.
Not all of them, but The Drummer's Dream would be one that I go back to. Often I've sat down and said, "Oh, I'm in a theater." I said, "Oh, I'll just watch the first 5 minutes, see that the sound level and it's in focus," and I sit there and I just watch the whole thing. So you got me.
I got you. Well, thank you for letting us into that. Do you have something that you're working on now? A new project?
Yes, I'm not going to say anything about it because it's sort of hush hush.
I wonder how much it'll take for me to get that out of him. But I'm not going to try.
Not on Facebook.
Not
I'm not going to announce it.
Not on Facebook Live.
No.
Thank you so
Okay,
much,
you're
John,
welcome.
and
No,
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So that's Focus on John Walker, which you can find all the films. There are 5 films that are part of this special retrospective. And all the information, of course, is on hotdocs.ca. 25 years of hot docs. It's pretty cool. So I know that Analea's arms are probably killing. Maybe I'll just take the camera from her for a second. Oh, let her have a break there. Just let her have a break. Shake it off, Analea. Shake it off. We're going to talk to the filmmaker of Snowbirds. Now, this sounds a little bit like your parents' story, Analea. Your parents who go to Florida every winter. And this film is specifically about Quebec, folks in Quebec who go off to Florida and a certain area in Florida that they live in. So maybe you'll relate to this, and we'll bring her on in. Come on down in your lovely red jacket. Joanie Lafrenière. Oh, yes. Oh, merci beaucoup. I've been practicing.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. You look like Sia. Does anybody ever tell you that?
No.
Do you know who
Nobody.
Sia is?
No, you are the first one.
Well,
Thank
it's the hair, I think, but
Is it like a compliment?
it is definitely a compliment. I
Oh,
love her music.
Love it.
And I love her. I love Joanie as well. Like, look at this. We just met, by the way, but I think that we're best friends now.
I think we are BFFs.
Fs. Yes. Would that be the same in French? BFF?
Nope.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
It's like meilleur ami.
Oh,
It's
I
the-
like that too. Meilleur ami. Well, that's what we are.
Yeah.
So tell us about Snowbirds, because this is such a sweet little film. I haven't seen it. I've seen the trailer, but talking about people who go out to escape the Canadian winters, as
Yeah.
we all should, but a very specific group of people from Quebec and a very specific place they go to.
Yeah. They go to Allendale Beach. It's in Florida, like close to Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like a leisure society.
A leisure society.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are all together, and they don't think about they're gonna be dying. But that's
Okay.
true.
Well,
No, but that's true
Okay.
because they are old.
well, that's true. That is true for sure. I liked the one woman who she is unabashedly. I'm going to keep you in here, so don't go away. Don't go away. Stay here.
I'm not
She
going away. Okay, I'm
she
staying here.
loves the sun. Like
Oh yeah, absolutely,
she
She-
lives to tan year round. She actually says this.
absolutely. It's
Her
Agathe.
goal in life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Agathe, and she needs the sun, and she needs to the community. That's the point. That's the point of the film,
Right.
Because they don't like to be alone, so they need to. This
You stay
kind-
young when you're around people and laughing and
I
happy.
think so too.
But she specifically, she tans all year round, and she
Yeah,
says,
absolutely.
is she the character who doesn't take any pills?
No,
Like she's on no
of course
medication.
not.
The sunshine is
sh-
my medication, she says. I love that.
Yeah, like she, like her meal is like chocolate and Pepsi.
Okay, the Pepsi I could do without. The chocolate, I'm all for a meal of
No,
chocolate.
come on,
See,
come on.
I will take wine or whiskey.
wine and Pepsi.
No, wine,
Wine
and
and
chocolate.
chocolate?
Only the French would say wine.
Perfect.
Yes, but there are some fabulous characters in this film.
Yeah,
Is
they
it your
are.
first time here at Hot Dog?
No, my third time.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's an old
No,
hand.
I love to be here. It's fun.
It's
and
a special year.
Yeah, because it's with snowbirds, and it's every time special when you are with snowbirds.
Right.
I love them.
Do you? It must have been fun to film this movie.
Oh my God! I pass 2 months with them. Like I stayed there for 2 months, and they were lovely.
And tell everybody where and when they can see the film,
Okay, it's tomorrow,
which is Friday the
the
27th.
Friday the 27th at 3:30.
Okay.
And
Is that a guess or
it's-
was that a question? 3:30 or are you sure?
I'm sure. Okay, yes. Is it okay?
It's okay.
Okay. So 3:30 on April 27th.
Yep.
And
Oh, I threw her off her game. Well, you can find all the rest of the show times at hotdocs.ca. I threw her off. She had a roll going, and I interrupted by asking
yeah,
if she was sure.
No, she was rude.
I was rude. So
She
rude.
was rude.
You're going to have to reprimand me later over a glass of wine.
That's the point.
Okay.
That's true.
I'm
Okay,
so
thank
sorry,
you.
Joanie.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. This was fabulous. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Say goodbye to everybody on Facebook and
Goodbye.
enjoy the party.
It was fun.
It was fun. Thank you. Gotta love when people have that kind of energy and they're just so fun on camera. But you know what? I think that's all the time we have for tonight. Is it 10 o'clock yet? Yeah, it is. And Analea's arms are about to fall off, so she needs a drink. That's all for now. Hotdocs.ca, and it's hashtag hotdocs25 because 25 years. Okay, that's all for now. Bye.